For those of you who have a greater comfort level with working with clay, working with coil building, working with hand building of bowls, you might want to try something more advanced. So we have the basic method, which is to roll coils, look kind of like snakes, and to cut them, bend them, curve them, spiral them, and make a bowl. And then add some simple pieces to it, put your name in it, great. That's very basic, but there's other things you can do with this same building technique which are more advanced. Here, I went with an organic, like Art Nouveau kind of thing, inspired by nature, and I made a bowl that's a flower with a little butterfly thing and some bees carved inside of it. And then I went with a more geometric, like we saw that in De Stijl, Bauhaus, Art Deco, so more geometric shapes, and I made this bowl, which I think of as a jester bowl. Looks like a jester hat. So it's possible to work with shapes that are not coils. So let me show you the basics of that. So when you design it, it's just going to take some better planning. You're going to think about what shapes, coils, this is a combination of wave shapes, which are coils that are spiraled for the most part, bubbles, because this is an underwater theme, which are balls of clay. I thought maybe I could do some seaweed shapes, not sure, and then definitely fish. I like fish in my art. So the bowl will not be these colors, but I was thinking about, I drew this in pencil first, but then I want to clearly see I'm going to have a little line of fish going around. I'm just going to do a simple spiral on the bottom. The bottom of the bowl, truthfully, you know, the bowl sits on the bottom. You see the sides and you see the inside. And actually, I should have put a decoration on the inside of this one. But you see the sides and you see the inside. So what you do with the bottom, like I did all this work and then I realized who's going to see it. But I love the little bees I carved inside, and those are fun. You probably can't see them. But, and here I have a monogram in here and this heart. So really you see the sides and the inside, not so much the bottom. Eventually I hope to give you an opportunity to use underglaze, which would mean we could add maybe some black and green to the inside. But I'm not sure if I will have that yet. So right now they're white bowls. Maybe if I get the money, I'll buy underglaze and we can add a little color to the inside, maybe part of the outside. For now they're white bowls, and white bowls are really interesting. The challenge of working with just white clay and making something attractive. So I planned the shapes, how I'm going to arrange them inside the bowl. I'm using a mold. So here you can see my fish, and I kind of altered this, but that's revision. As you work, you go, oh, this would work better. And then before I started building this, I thought, well, what might the outside look like? And then once I smooth it and make it all nice and clean, because we see the inside of a bowl so prominently, it's nice to have a decoration in there. So I wish I would have put one in there. So this is, once I smooth it out, I'm going to take a stick, a craft stick, and I'm going to carve some fish with bubbles inside. Now I did tell you to put your monogram, your initials or someone's initials, but in this more advanced technique, if you create something that you would clearly recognize, that's a drawing of something else, that's fine. I just need you to be able to recognize your bowl, and it should be attractive. So you have your design. You set it off to the side so you can follow it, and then we're building inside the bowl. Now, yes, you can still roll coils. You can roll balls of clay, but you can also make shapes. So here I'm making another fish. So my little fish. And the thing with making shapes that you have to keep in mind, they can't be skinny. So see how wide this is? Thickness of my finger. All parts of it need to stay that same thickness. So you don't want to make a skinny little shape, because once we smooth it, it will be so thin the bowl will probably break there. Now, before I put this in line with its other fish friends, I'm going to take the opportunity to look at the outside, which is the side that will show, because you put these in the bowl, in the mold, we smooth the inside so it becomes blank, and then we draw on it, we make it to underglaze it. And then you see the whatever you put on the outside. So what we're seeing is the outside of the shape. So I'm going to take an opportunity to do some very simple decoration on the outside of my fish. Now I realize that as I work with this and smooth, this will get flattened a little bit, but more advanced technique building, if once we take it out of the mold, if you want to spend a little bit of time cleaning it up and adding texture to the outside before it dries, you can do that. You just have to be super careful. So there, I put a face, some simple things, and I'm going to put him in line with his friend. And then I will make one more fish, and then I need to fill all these gaps, create the waves at the top, and then smooth it out. So this takes more time because you're not just rolling coils, you're making shapes. Now yes, you can make, like those are organic shapes, those are fish. I could make a bunch of like different squares. You can use a butter knife. You can overlap things, but keep in mind that when you overlap, that the things on the inside, I mean, you're seeing the outside, so you always got to think whatever I'm overlapping, the thing on the outside will show the most. But you can make shapes like this. So you can make like a bunch of heart shapes. And you do not have to draw on the outsides of these, so if you just want to make the shapes and work with shapes. So it's just a different thought process slightly than, oh, I'm going to roll a coil and I'm going to create a design with a coil. This is now, oh, I'm going to use different shapes and line my bowl with those. And another part of this challenge is then deciding what goes between, around, above, below the shapes you make, because you have to fill all the holes. So those are some basics about working with shapes rather than coils, or in addition to coils. Keep in mind, keep your shapes fairly thick. Good guide is the thickness of your finger. Fill all the holes. If you want to, put decoration on the outside. If you want to try working on the outside a little bit after you're done and we take it out of the bowl, depends on your comfort level again, but you're welcome to talk to me about that and I'll help you get it out of the bowl and I'll show you what that looks like. If you just want to make shapes and not decorate them, or really simple decorations like that, will probably stay. So anytime you decorate clay, you want to make it wider than you think you're going to want it, because as the clay dries it shrinks. And something like this, I could probably face this out, and even when I smooth, if I'm careful, this will probably still be there. So, and keep in mind as you're working, keep your clay covered, and once I finish this bowl, I'll have some photos of this that you can look at. But there you go.